So if from what I remember, and also in doing my research, you used to align yourself a lot with Larry Langford. God bless the dead. Mm-hmm. At the time, you all held the Democratic majority of the commission. Did you know that Larry Langford was taking bribes?
Oh, no. I don't still believe that at all. I never witnessed any of that. Okay. When you're in government, it's like you being on a news set. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting next to the weatherman, doesn't mean I know the weather. Okay. And so from that perspective, I wasn't Larry Langford's friend. I was Larry Langford's colleague. Okay. And there's a difference there. I mean, Larry Langford had never been to my house. Okay. I know that sounds strange to people, but the respect that I had was because I was much younger than him. I think Larry was 20 plus years older than me. In fact, they all were, and we were a Republican majority. It's still Republican. It's still.
I know
Republican.
It's Republican today. I thought then when you were elected, it flipped.
Two.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But the guy that worked with us was Republican and generally voted with us. And for the most part, it was 3 Republicans, but we voted together quite a bit. A lot, because you know what? Mainly it's not partisan at Jefferson County. You got to run DNR, Democrat and Republican, but typically we operated, because the county is so big, we do services. We've got to provide services, roads, transportation, bridges. We got to do things in the community, jobs, employment, workforce, environmental, those kinds of things. We have to make sure that the county buildings are running. We have to make sure the sheriffs and the courts are funded. So you can't do DNR. Well, you can and not get anything done. Mm-hmm. But I was with a group that I used to cover. I covered Larry Langford. I covered Gary White. I covered Mary Buckaloo. I covered Betty Fine Collins. Yeah. I covered them all while they were at the county and the city and where they were. And then I ended up being a colleague. So I don't think they really ever trusted me down there. But they were respectful. But I had to grow up. When you work with those kinds of entities. And I have to say, Larry was a very powerful, I would say, I don't want to call it a character, but personality. But so was Betty Fine Collins, and they clashed all the time. Yeah. And so was Mary Buckaloo, and they were tighter than me and him on any given day. But I decided I wasn't going to fight no black man in public. It didn't matter. That wasn't my style. That wasn't me. And I was young, and I had to just kind of grow up. So if he was doing that, he never ever showed that. I could unequivocally say that I never ever saw this man do anything in front of me. But you have to understand, I wasn't that with Larry Langford. We were colleagues, and we came to work on Tuesday. We voted, and my crew was a lot younger, and I was kicking it a little bit different. Yeah. I don't think he could have hung out with my crew at Tasty Tuesday at Platinum. I doubt it.
But you're saying that you don't even believe that he took bribes? Are you saying that as well?
No, I mean, I never saw it, so how could I believe that?
Yeah. Okay. And you think that if you had saw it, then what would have happened? Like, what would you have done?
But I just don't think he was naive enough to do that in front of me, because I'm smart.
Okay.
So he's smart too.
Yeah.
So you don't do something if you think you're smarter and you've got another smart person in the room. You typically would not involve and engage that person, because that would just be stupid on that other person's part. So you got 2 stupid people.
Yeah.
So he never, ever engaged me in that manner. Larry Langford had his own way of doing these. This guy's been a mayor of Fairfield. This guy was on the Birmingham City Council. He's been doing government way before me. Yeah. And Larry Langford was only there 3 years. I was there for 8.
Yeah.
And people get that confused. I didn't serve with Larry Langford very long at all. Okay. Or William Bell, who was there, or Mr. Bowman. I had 3 black men that were there. Yeah. But the 3 black men were there just for a season. Yeah. And I was there for a long time. Right. I was there for 8 years. So
what do you think about the current county commission?
I don't. I just don't. It's their world. I'm going to let them live in it.
Why don't you have any thoughts on it?
When
you have opinions about everything.
I do, but when I leave a place, I leave. I'm out. I'm out in peace, deuces, bye.
Is it because there's people on the commission that maybe you don't like or gel with?
Oh, no. Politics is politics. I don't consider politicians friends. I consider them like-minded people about a cause on that day. I don't typically have friends that are politicians. I don't have politicians friends. How about maybe one? I would say that Marika Coleman by far is my dearest friend, but we were friends before we were politicians. And we came in together. So if I had to pick somebody political, I would say that, Marika Coleman's my girl. We're like-minded in many ways. I'm very proud of her being our senator now. I would have to say, because we came in together. She came out of TV. She went to law school. I went to law school. We've just been, but we agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. So for those people who don't understand an opinionated person, I don't have any conversation for them. I don't even want to waste their time. I certainly am not going to waste my time. Today's kind of commission, I just think if I had to have an opinion, I would expect a little more legacy, leaving things. I mean, you just can't just start passing out money like cards in a deck of cards. You need to really be impactful. My legacy is schools, where we moved $1 billion in schools, and
I remember that.
Yep. And when you got hit by COVID,
sales tax because that was controversial.
It was very
controversial.
People
did not want that sales tax increase.
No,
but the buildings are pretty today.
Aren't they?
They look nice.
They have a 1-cent sales tax can only be used for schools only to retire the debt service. Debt service being what they borrow, they can retire, but they can't do enrichment, none of that, employee raises, none of that. It's designed for bricks and mortar debt service, so they can borrow, and that once it can pay it down. And then there was a technology piece in there, so my colleagues weren't thinking that. Mm-hmm. I was so far ahead on that. I had the first BlackBerry in the county commission. I'm like, doesn't anybody have a BlackBerry? They're like, what's that? Yeah. And so I was very computer literate. And so I put the technology piece in that's written into that legislation today. Yeah. And when COVID hit, the reason why you got all those laptops and all that is because I put that legislation in that you could use that money to use it for technology. I did not know at that time that we would get hit so hard that people would be doing their schoolwork remotely. And that's what a leader should do. Yeah. A leader shouldn't look at, well, if I do this, I'm going to get unelected. A leader should look like, if I do this, it's going to impact somebody for the rest of their lives. Or I was looking toward the future, and I knew that with that piece that I wrote into that 1-cent sales tax, the technology was coming, and it was coming fast and hard, but they didn't see it, and they didn't really care. Yeah. So, of course, they let me just write that on in. Yeah. And now that's it's a
so basically you
great
don't
equalizer.
Basically, you don't think the commission is doing enough.
I don't know what the commission is doing, simply because that is their time. I had my time, and I could fix it. I'm a fixer. I can fix anything. I don't think they would like me to do what I'm thinking about doing.
Yeah. Is that your phone? Mm-hmm. Is that going to go off on its own?
Mm-mm. I need to turn it off.
You want to grab it real quick? Because I have one little last part.
Yeah, is it okay? Because you edit. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's stay out of there, muckety muck. I'm just a different leader than they are.
Yeah.
I think no disrespect, but I'm so.
Yeah, people have different types of leadership styles, and
you've seen it covering. Politics.
Yeah, I've seen it a little bit, and one thing that I was going to say is that you do ruffle feathers a little bit.
I do,
and you can cause some controversy. That comes from some of the work that you did at 5,
and I don't mind. I mean, I like myself a lot. I don't care if you love me or hate me. That ain't my world. If you got that kind of energy to spend on whether you need to do that, then that's something that you probably shouldn't expend all your time on, because I truly enjoy who I am. I'm truly happy. It really doesn't matter. You got to think about where I come from too. I got a little tone to me because I'm from Flint, Michigan. My parents wanted me to understand my Southern history, but I also understand that if I play it too safe, or if I'm fearful, I can't think about it. I am strategic, so I know what I'm doing, but if I think about it too much, then it's not going to get done. Then what's the purpose? What's the reason? Why are you there?
Yeah.
Let somebody else do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In 2016, you and your daughter Mecca got into a dispute.
No, we did not get into a dispute.
Okay.
Don't believe everything you read.
Well, tell me what happened, if you don't mind.
Ask your question.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask, first of all, how is she? Because I haven't talked to her in a long time.
Oh, yeah, and you guys know each other.
Yeah.
She's doing good.
Okay.
She's doing good.
Okay.
She's doing good.
Good. Whatever happened, you were in family court. Is that correct?
Yeah. I actually wasn't supposed to be there.
Okay.
I inserted myself into my child's affairs.
Okay.
Yeah, I did, and gladly so. Would do the same thing again. Wouldn't change a world. Wouldn't change a thing.
For sure, mother's love.
Well, when somebody goes up, you got to understand what Sheila Smoot is like, and who Sheila Smoot is when she walks in a room. When people don't think I'm a parent. They think I'm coming in for some other reason, and that's not what happened. In fact, the young man that, family court is family court. Right. And, of course, I have enemies. You've got to understand that, too.
Okay.
So everything that transpired, of course, all that got kicked out. Of course, I knew it was. That's why I was so calm about it. Me and the guy that called for that is no longer the deputy sheriff at this time.
Okay.
Who called for me to be arrested because he said I was obstructing justice. And it wasn't that. My daughter was a victim of domestic violence. I didn't know about it. We were just in court on a protection from abuse order. I was just walking in, and, the young man said something, she said something, and I was just kind of in this tone, say, hey, let's go, not a problem. You shouldn't have the two entities walking side by side. So what happened, they walked through the door together. We all walked, passing them, they passed us. Words were exchanged. There was no battle. There was no fight. There was nothing. So when he dipped out, he said to the officer, you need to go upstairs. Sheila Smoot is causing a ruckus. And that's what happened.
And the deputies believed what he was saying.
And I got maced.
And this was the former sheriff, Jefferson County sheriff?
No, it's a former deputy chief who called for that to be done 2 hours after I was leaving. In fact, we had finished our business and we were leaving. In fact, I wrote a statement. And after I wrote that statement, they were like, hey, we're afraid we're going to have to take you downtown. I said, for what? And they're like, we're not sure. And so I went, I don't argue with police because, I'm not going to get you with my fists. I'm not going to take a gun and shoot you. I'll just get you in court. I'll get you on paper. I have a Juris Doctorate degree. I'm very smart. Why sweat the small stuff, I knew I was right. I knew they were wrong. And then when it all came out, I had judges apologizing to me. I had people saying, I know we're going to get sued. Yeah, you should have been sued, but I move on. I have something bigger than that. I needed to deal with my daughter's mental health. And that's what we're still doing. And all the things that I didn't know she was going through because she was afraid to talk about things because of my politics. I'm a parent first. I'm Sheila Smoot first.
Yeah.
Foremost. I'm that person first. Nothing more, nothing less. And it's just like any other thing. They said I stalked my ex-husband. That didn't happen either. People are going to make up things. When you're a celebrity and when you're in the public eye, that is expected. You cannot get upset over it. I've been followed home. I've been accosted in clubs trying to provoke me. But I'm not the person that you're going to get a rise out of that physically. I'm going to kick your tail with words. I'm going to take you to court, and I'm going to win that. Why? Because you're the person that has the negative energy. You're coming at me, but I'm strategic enough and smart enough to know that you're trying to put me in a box because of my name so you can tear that down. And you can't do that, and it doesn't matter. I mean, I'll just go to the next state.
What do you think that people don't know about you that you feel like people should know about you?
I think, that's a very good question. I think people should know I'm a great roller skater. I have trophies in roller skating. I think people ought to know that I'm the co-chairperson for the Michigan State Black Alumni with a $3.2 million endowment where we stroke checks to black students at Michigan State who need the money. I think they need to know that I enjoy karaoke. I go all over this place karaoke, but I probably started out shy. Most people wouldn't think that. I think people need to know that I truly believe in speaking out your truth and living your truth and being who you are and not conforming. I do think you need to make mild adjustments if, you and I talk a lot, when you're going into somebody else's domain, But if you don't want to stay there, now with remote and there's another continent, you can go to Africa, you can go to, other places. You don't have to stay here. I chose to stay in Alabama. Yeah. I grew up in Flint, Michigan. My parents dropped me off for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't really parlay into me knowing what a working adult should know. So when I became a working adult, I'm like, whoa, there needs to be some things happening around here. Yeah. So I stayed to make that happen. So I think, again, when I'm in my zone, and my shout out to the Birmingham Rollers. I got 2 pair of roller skates in my car, indoor, outdoor. They know I skate. I'm on the Michigan State alumni dance team, so every homecoming I go back, get on the field, and I dance. And I still do some party politics as well at a high level. Yeah. I'm on a White House call every couple of weeks, and I won't say why. But, I do a lot of behind-the-scenes advocacy for people who need help. People still call me. I take their calls. I send them to either lawyers or I send them to wherever they need to get help because I'm still on your side. I'm still that person. But I was that person before Fox. I was like that as a child. Yeah. Because everybody deserves a shot. So, I think people were surprised that somebody like me could go through those things. But you know what? Yeah. Because I'm just that person that got that break. Yeah. I was behind the scenes. I got pushed out front. I didn't want that. Yeah. But doing what I do for a living, I'm not embarrassed by any situation, any what people like to call controversy, because typically it's their controversy. I'm not controversy. I mean, everybody wants to get Sheila Smoot. So I'm not even on guard. I'm not paranoid. I'm just conscious. I'm like, if that's what you feel you've got to do, then don't take it personal when I strike back, because I will.
Legends of 205 and Sheila Smoot, thank you.
Thank you so much. This has been enjoyable.